Welcome back, friends. In this module, we will see how to create and configure microservices. So first, let's try to understand a little bit about the microservices flow, how the request flows, and then we can see a code example. Okay. So whenever client sends a request to a microservice, first he needs to authenticate himself. Okay. So he needs to call the authentication service with the credentials. So the authentication service is responsible for authenticating the client. He is correctly authenticated if his ID, password, whatever he has sent is correct. The authentication service will return him a JWT token. Okay. Now this JWT token the client needs to store in its temporary storage in the browser or mobile app, whatever it needs to have a copy of itself, and using this JWT token it needs to pass this JWT token as a header, and then it can call any of the microservice. It can call product, it can call order. So in order to make the client capable of calling the every microservice, before, this is an optional step but it is a good practice, we create a API gateway. Okay, so client will not call that other services directly. Okay, it will call the API gateway with the JWT as a header and whatever path or whatever service he wants to call. So here the JWT will be validated using the private key, and if it is a valid, if the authentication passes, all the other services, for example the order service or the product service, all the other services, they live behind the API gateway. So client never calls the services directly, it calls the API gateway, and API gateway based on the URL that you have requested. If you have slash product in your URL, it will route the request to the product service. If you have slash order in your URL, it will route the request to the order service. In this way it will route the request. Okay, so this is how the request flows in a microservice system. Now let's see with the help of a code example how these services are configured. So this is the example of a microservice system. Here we have a API gateway, we have authentication service, we have our front-end code as well. We will not cover front-end codes as part of this course, but we have our front-end code as well. And then we have our order service, we have our product service. Okay, so we will see one of the service and we will see other components as well. Okay, so this is our authentication service. It has a lot of code which is responsible for authenticating your request. So first of all, the request comes to the authentication controller. If it is a new user, he or she can register himself. If he is a existing user, he can authenticate himself, and if he has already authenticated and received a token long ago, he can update his token as well by calling the rest refresh token endpoint. So these are the some common endpoints. So yeah, these are the three services. Register is for registering a user, for authenticating a user, and refresh token is if you have already have the JW token, you can request a updated token if it has been long or if it is expired. When you call register, it goes to your service to register. It saves the user information whatever you have sent into the database, and then it generates a JW token, it generates a refresh token and returns to you. Similarly, when you authenticate, it fetches the username and password that you have sent. It tries to authenticate, tries to check whether this username and password combination lives in the database or not. If it really lives, it fetches the user, it generates a JW token for the user, it generates a refresh token for the user and returns back. Okay, similarly we have refresh token as well. In refresh token, it checks the username from the JW token, and then if it is a valid token, it generates a new token and returns back. So the important part that we are trying to see here is how we configure microservice. So first of all, the most important which I've already seen is to add this @spring boot authentication location or this annotation on your services. Then your services should have controller @rest controller. You can give the URL pattern, and then for every get post request or get request, you need to add request. So this is your authentication service. We will see other services as well. For example, let's see about our product service. Okay, this is a simpler example. So the most important thing is to have this @Spring Boot application, which signifies that it is a Spring Boot service. Then your service should have a controller. This is like the entry point of your application. So here you can see that you have this request mapping for products/products. Then here we have two endpoints. One is the post and one is the get. So you can try to search a product by ID, by product name, and you can try to save a product by sending all the information for the product. And then your service should also have a service layer. Okay, let's see about product service. This is our service layer. Our service layer, what it is doing when we call the save method, it is saving the product repository, and when we call the search method using the product name, it is trying to find the product. Okay, then your service should also have a repository layer. Okay, so here we have the product repository. It is of kind interface. It is not an implementation. Why we have taken interface? Because Hibernate or JPA already provides many ready-made inbuilt methods for database interaction, which we can use upfrontly. So this is a JPA repository. When we extend this JPA repository, we get lot of methods which are already implemented by Hibernate. Okay, we already covered this earlier as well. So this is three-layered structure of a Spring Boot microservice: controller, service, and repository. And then all the entities that we have. For example, here we have our product entity. So we have the table name here specified in the entity. These are Lombok annotations we have already covered, and we have the columns present. We have the properties matching each of the column with the table. We have already covered this in Hibernate. So yeah, this is the structure of a microservice. So this is how a microservice is structured. Regarding dependencies, if we see the POM of this one, the POM, we have this Spring Data JPA for Hibernate. We have this Spring Boot starter web for our controllers. So these are the couple of important dependencies that you have. We'll show you the other dependencies as well, and let's see our API gateway as well. In our API gateway, it is a very simple code. Here we have simply added this Spring Boot application, and then we have this gateway config. Okay, so this is of the type configuration. Here we specify routes for our different services. So if your requested URL contains product, send the request to your product service and remove this product, because inside that it is not required. You have already reached the product service. You can call other sub endpoints there. So you can remove this product part now because you have already reached at the product service. Similarly, if your request contains orders, it will redirect your request to the order service and it will remove this order part. Okay. This is what we are doing. Strip prefix at the first index. So this part it will remove, and then it will call the other sub endpoints of your order service. So this is how the request flows in a microservices system. It generates the JWT authentication service, then it calls the API gateway, and then the request gets diverted to other microservices. So this is how you configure your microservices code. Okay, they should be Spring Boot applications. They should have 3 layers: model, view, controller. They should have the necessary Spring dependencies. This is, of course, going further, they should have Dockerfile as well, but we will learn that in the next section when we study Docker. For now, you can only realize this much. So stay tuned and keep learning.